All right, guys, we are doing our very first YouTube Live on the Jake Harvath YouTube channel. So, I'm doing this to celebrate a very special occasion. It is the 1 year anniversary of the year of the Mustang journey. We left on September 25th, 2023. So, over 365 days ago. Today, 366. And yeah, I am absolutely stoked about it. It is so cool. We have been living on the trail for over a year, and we just wrapped up the day a little bit ago. So I'm now chilling in my man Bobby's house here in Reedsville, Iowa. But yeah, it has been an absolutely incredible day, and loving the folks of Iowa so far. Hopefully we'll get some folks to join on. We're going to be doing Q&A, answering questions. Anything you guys want to know, hit me up. So feel free to send your messages into the chat. But yeah, hopefully you guys will come on and join us as we celebrate 365 days on the trail. As far as the stats go, up until this point, my horses and I have traveled 4,570 miles across the United States. We've been through 21 states now, and we have been going almost continuously, on average about 5 days a week, averaging 20 miles a day, and that has led us up to creating the longest continuous horse journey done within the U.S. within a year's time. So it's incredible. We got a question, is Bella going to join before we get home? Yes. So Bella is scheduled to be brought out when we get to Wyoming here in a little over a month. So she's going to help us get to the end, and she's doing fantastic. So yeah, that is the plan at the moment. Yeah, we do have some maps put out. We do have a plan to put out a map of the journey in its entirety, and so people can see what we still have left to go. But yeah, basically having a hard time keeping up always because we move so much. Where am I today? So I'm in Reedland, Iowa. So yeah, we are in eastern Iowa and staying with some wonderful folks here in town. The horses are at a farm just a couple miles off. Yep. Anyhow, sorry guys, I'm getting the chat running. Love it. Welcome to Ozark from Missouri. I have used Drill Tech on my shoes before. So someone asked if I use Drill Tech or just flats on my shoes. Most of my sets are just flats, and that's because Drill Tech's kind of a pain to work with if you lose one. So it's easier just to be able to pick up shoes as I go. I can't carry tons of weight in spare shoes, so I'm kind of finding shoes as I go along sometimes to meet my needs as far as spares go. I don't typically lose many, but if you do, you want to be ready. So that's why I don't run Drill Tech continuously, because if you lose one, then you have to have a Drill Tech shoe to replace it. So that's kind of the reason I don't typically do it, but it has been handy in the past. Especially out where I'm at now, it just hasn't been necessary. In some places where the asphalt's really slick, like in the Appalachians and the East Coast, it is helpful. I do recommend it. But yeah, most of the trip I've just run flats. That's super cool. Jersey Pirates said they just picked up their first Mustang. That's awesome. Good for you. Oh yeah, great to meet you too. Yeah, we got someone from Jersey that I met. Awesome. Yeah, guys, it does not feel real, let me tell you. All the time is just flown right by. It does not feel like 365 days. Yeah, fastest year of my entire life, absolutely. Welcome from British Columbia, Canada, Jamie Bryce. Good to see you, man. Yeah, that's fair. You don't see me sitting around too much unless it's sitting on a horse. How far west will I be going? So I'm headed home to Utah. So Heber City, Utah is as far west as I'll get. Yep, that's the goal. We are scheduled to make it there around the end of November to the beginning of December. Is there extra footage? We absolutely take lots of footage that doesn't make it through for various reasons. I mean, that's all just the editing process. And we'll see about releasing some of that in some other pieces after this trip is all over. So absolutely, we'll be going back. Um, yeah, we've got lots of big plans post trip for all the different content I want to put out for you guys to continue to learn about this trip and what it was like. But for now, yeah, we're busy living in the moment. Will I keep my beard? That's a tough one. I don't know if I'll keep the beard for very long after the trip. We might get back to my classic mustache, but I might keep the hair or trim it up a little bit. We'll see. But yeah, so guys, I left clean shaven and haven't touched it since I left, and my hair was fairly short as well. So this is the longest hair and beard I've ever had, and yeah, it's just been doing its thing since then, basically. Yep, it's been fun. Hey, they're from Colorado. Yeah. We absolutely will be doing a bunch of work to educate more of the public about the process and all the different ways that you can adopt wild horses, whether you're qualified to train one from wild or you need something that's been started under saddle. So we're going to be talking a lot more on this channel about that. So keep watching these videos because I go over some of those little things once in a while, and I'm going to be talking more and more about that. But yeah, it's absolutely something that you're going to find on the Jake Harvath channel. We're going to talk more about those ways that you guys can get into it with Mustangs if you're a first-time adopter or looking to be a first-time adopter. Will I do another ride to the West Coast? Please come to Washington. Part of me, because that was one of the original goals of this trip, was to also go to the West Coast. I'm not gonna absolutely say no to that. I don't have immediate plans to do another big journey. We've kind of got our plate full right now, and obviously I'm looking forward to when my horses are going to get to rest. But never say never. It'd be cool to go get to do the states that I always wanted to do but didn't get to, just because time is catching up with us. Yeah, I can't wait to see Bella again either. That's fantastic. It's been so cool to see, even though Belle hasn't been with us for a long time, it's been so cool for me how many people, even after she's gone home, have come to love her, and I totally understand. I mean, she's such an amazing horse, and yeah, we can't wait to have her back for sure. So yeah, it's cool to see everyone's supportive of Bella back home. It's wonderful. Yeah, shoot, guys. Yeah, as for those who are just joining, my other horses, Denver and Eddie, are both geldings, and they are 7 and 13. And Denver comes from the Owyhee, Nevada herd, and then Eddie's from Bordo Travisado, New Mexico. How many families have I stayed with? I do not know. We're gonna have to get a count. Um, I stay in all sorts of different situations with different people. You know, that's not that I'm staying in like someone's house all the time. It's very varied. So it's hard to say exactly how many people per se I've stayed with, because I've stayed in everything from just showing up and kind of being on my own in people's places to, having all sorts of support and big welcomes when I come in. So it's it's a big variation. This is the first night I've stayed in a room. The last like 11 nights I've stayed in a different version of a trailer, so a horse trailer, living quarters, or a camper or something like that. It's kind of funny. Just every other night a different trailer. Yeah, I do. I do keep in contact with a lot of the people. With most of the people I stay with, I have contacts for all of them. So yeah, a lot of them become like family. Just it's just how it is with me. It just everyone's everyone's my friend. As soon as I meet you. Has the trip exceeded my expectations? Absolutely. And here's the thing, though, with that too, is I knew how big a thing this was going to be going into it, and I didn't set too many crazy expectations in my head because I knew I was never going to be able to wrap my head around it all. So I would say it far exceeds all everything I hoped it would be in a lot of ways. Um, and yeah, it's been incredible for all the hard things. It's been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. How's it going? Welcome. Yeah, so that's definitely a thing with the living situation over time. It's it has been a progression, that is true. So I was camping every night, right, to begin with, and as I moved kind of from New Mexico to Oklahoma, I started arranging more and more to stay with people, just because it was going from more public land to private land. It just became necessary for us to be able to continue to move efficiently. So yeah, it has its benefits. Absolutely, it's nice to be able to just let the horses turn out and not have to worry about them, and not worry about food and those things. But I do love being out in the backcountry with the horses as well. It's a fun thing for me to be out there camping with them, so I don't mind it at all. I love doing both. But for the sake of efficiency, it is nice to set up with people to stay as we go along. So yeah, in a sense, I guess it has gotten easier. I've just gotten better at managing it all too. Hey there from Oklahoma, welcome. Appreciate it, Anna Butler, welcome. So, for those who are just joining, this is the Year of the Mustang 1 year anniversary live stream. So, thank you guys, everyone who's just now joining. Just wanted to update you guys and welcome you to celebrate with us after 365 days on the trail. What do we feed them in order to keep their weight up while traveling? All right, so first off, part of these guys being wild horses, being the size and age that they are extremely good at living off the land. They are very hardy. They can make do living this high calorie burning lifestyle with very poor nutrient quality, is the reality. Like, we've lived on the range with nothing else uh, than weeds and dry grass, and getting up and doing it all again the next day. We've done that plenty. But for majority of this trip now, I've picked up feed and hay from people I'm staying with, and I've gotten a lot of support in the feed department that way. So I've been able to keep these guys to grain and everything. So that's been a good chunk of the trip now, that we've been able to get these guys to supplements and get them to hay, or at least get them on grass pasture, and that's done them just fine. That's what's helped them maintain their weight as we've gone along. Hey, thanks for the prayers, Ozark Duke. Yep, we will very likely be dealing with some winter before we get home. That's definitely expected with knowing Utah and Wyoming in November. Yep, that's what we'll be heading for. We're gonna make it back as quickly as we can and pray that the weather's as easy on us as it can be, but we're ready for it no matter what. And if I miss your comment, feel free to comment it again. We got so many coming in. Or if I missed your question, I should say. Tomorrow we are headed to an area called Shell Rock, Iowa. So we've got 4 states left after Iowa, headed through South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, and then we'll just touch Idaho before we go back down into Utah. So 4 states to go. Doesn't sound like much after all of this. My expected arrival time frame is about the end of November to the beginning of December. They are the horses getting winter coat yet? They are just starting to put on some longer hair, so it is just getting going. They're both getting darker again, and yeah, they kind of shedded that undercoat here over the last couple weeks, and it's starting to come in. The nights are getting down to around 49, 48. So yeah. Do I find myself lonely at times, or has social media kept you connected? I mean, social media absolutely has kept me connected in a lot of ways. Honestly, though, I'm kind of built for it. I'm just one of those personalities. I'm very comfortable with my own company, so it doesn't really bother me at all to be alone. And I also meet so many people on the road, depending on where I'm at, that it's not always that lonely of an experience. So I actually enjoy kind of the time alone with my horses, and I get plenty of time with people, whether especially these days with people I stay with. Did I touch Wisconsin? Yeah, I was 3 nights in Wisconsin, so that was the last state number 20. Have any YouTube creators reached out for an interview? Yeah, absolutely. And I'm always collecting ideas for collaborations. We're gonna do a lot of stuff with different YouTubers when I get back, and that's gonna be part of what I do going forward after this trip, to continue to share the Western way of life with you guys, the ranching way of life, and also things related to Mustangs. Where in Wisconsin, I came in from Apple River, Illinois, so Potosi, Cassville. I crossed the Mississippi River on the Cassville Ferry last Saturday. So, yeah. Hey, thanks, Lamont Critchett, for the congrats. Super cool. It's fun to see a lot of people I've stayed with here in the chat. It's awesome. Good to see you guys. If I missed you, thanks for everything. That's one of the fun parts about this trip, is all the wonderful people I meet along the way. It's super inspiring. Ryland Rose. I do not know Ryland Rose off the top of my head. Yeah, I do not. Sorry. Yep. I was doing these lives earlier today. I did one on TikTok and Facebook, and it was cool because we were on the road with the horses and everything, having some connection issues, but yeah, absolutely worthwhile. So if you guys want to see that on Facebook, go look at that as well after. Gotcha. Rena will look into that. And Miss Morgan, that's super kind to hear. I love these horses. I've had so many experiences training wild horses over the years. I've had so many experiences training all sorts of different breeds of horses, but it seems like Mustangs, in my experiences being in the round pen, working with wild horses, taught me the most, and gave me the most impactful lessons. So I do got a special place in my heart for them, and I guess that's why I'm out here trying to give back in a sense, and get more people to see them in the light that I do. Yeah, I am currently in Reedland, Iowa. That's where I'm at right now. The John Wayne Trail. I have heard of the John Wayne Trail. I'm not totally familiar with exactly all of its whereabouts, but yes, I have heard of the name. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to be getting on chunks of the Prairie Trail here in Iowa. In Nebraska, we're going to get on chunks of the Cowboy Trail. So those are big, long, continuous trails across these plain states. Am I sick? No, I'm not sick. I got a little stuffy nose just from all the dust. Sorry if you can hear that. Yeah, dusty day, lots of trucks going by, grain trucks on these back roads. Um, as far as will I miss the road, it's very possible. I'm very used to my life now, so I'm kind of curious to see what the mental effect is on me when I'm all done with this. But regardless of that, I think more about my horses and myself, so I know that they'll absolutely appreciate the rest. Let's see. Where's the worst traffic been on the trip? Probably the heaviest traffic on the trip was New Jersey, but I wouldn't necessarily call that the worst just because New Jersey also has a lot of sidewalks and a lot of road shoulder. So even though there was a ton of traffic, I was able to get away from a lot of it. The worst traffic is the traffic you have to be right next to. So I would say probably like Pennsylvania, where it's both busy and there's nowhere to be on the road except right there in it. So Pennsylvania is probably the worst of the traffic, in my opinion. Bella's doing great. Yep, we can't wait to see her. We're going to be bringing her back out here in the middle of November, beginning of November. Hey, that's fantastic. Thanks for posting about our ride through New Jersey. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I want to sniff my nose really bad, but I guess I'm kind of plugged up. That's all right, though. Yep, I love New Jersey. People can say what they want about it. I didn't meet a mean person in New Jersey. Not a single one. For those who are just now getting in here, welcome. This is the anniversary live stream of the year of the Mustang. We have been on the road for 1 year, so I wanted to celebrate with you guys. Talk a little bit about it, ask what questions you will. Oh shoot, would love to. Any scary situations? Oh yeah, plenty of stuff. I had a run-in with a mountain lion in New Mexico. In the Sangre de Cristo while I was washing my dishes in the Vermejo River. And I went and ran him up the hill, but yeah, it was dark and he came out of nowhere. I caught the light of his eyes in my headlamp and had the horses staked out behind me in the meadow. Most of my scary experiences, I feel like, have been with traffic, though. So just close calls with vehicles on the road. Yep. Gets a little western sometimes. Tell us about crossing the Delaware. Okay, so the situation was that I had Jersey all set up, all the stays. I had to because it's too busy a state. Had to have everything worked out beforehand. So it was all scheduled out. I was in Pennsylvania. You have to cross the Delaware River somewhere. The whole state line is the Delaware River. So you have to get on a bridge at some spot to be able to get in. So I had planned to use Washington Crossing Bridge. It's a great metal bridge, but it has a pedestrian path on the side. Now, all across the country, we've used 100 different pedestrian paths on the sides of bridges. Now, a great metal bridge is not a surface that a horse can really safely walk on, and there's also nowhere to be. There's no shoulder on these metal frame bridges. It's just cars. So the pedestrian path was really the only option. And lots of people comment like, oh, how can they tell you not to use the bridge? It's not that they weren't telling me to use the bridge. The Great Bridge was actually impassable to us. They were telling me I couldn't use the pedestrian path on the side, which the state commission on their own bridges, they can make rules about that regarding horses. So what happened was I wasn't aware of any of this. I was going down the Delaware Trail on the Pennsylvania side, and I had a guy who's going to film me make the crossing, and I'm going into the day a couple miles. He calls me and tells me that the bridge guard says you can't do this. And I'm confused out of my mind because Pennsylvania, I'd looked at the rules and it's fine, but it was Jersey that was saying no. So I go from supervisor to supervisor on the phone trying to figure this out. And finally they tell me no, and I didn't know what to do. I could have wasted an entire day and gone back to where I started, and then everything would have to be rescheduled, and I'm still in the same boat with the same problem. How do I get into the state? And then it occurred to me, maybe we could swim it. So I started looking on the satellite map for somewhere I could swim, and I find a spot that's mostly rocks, and it's a wide spot in the river, so I know it's going to be more shallow. And I get down there and I observe it all, check it all out, and I go for it. So after a prayer and a hope, we sent it, and it was pretty wild. We were swimming for about 50 yards even after we got going for about 100, and we drifted down a little bit, picked up the rocks on the other side, and hobbled our way out into New Jersey. So that was the story with getting into state number 16. And yeah, we continued on after that and did our day. Made it in for the night. Did I get a bunch of kids running out and asked if I could pet the horses? That happens all over the place. These guys do get kind of loved on by everybody. They're pretty used to it. So yeah, they're pretty darn used to people touching them. Would it be what I thought it would be, or would I think? I'm thinking about your question. Um, in a lot of ways, yes, but in a lot of ways, I just didn't have too many preset expectations because I knew it was going to be an adventure. You know, how could it not be? So don't ruin it for yourself. You know, go live a little bit. It was kind of the way I went into this trip, and yeah, so absolutely, yeah, it's been what I thought it would be, but so much more at the same time. It's been really cool. As far as, you know, I knew there'd be difficulties. Yeah, all that. Do I have any helpers scheduling stops? I kind of pick up help as I go. I kind of go through areas where I have people who are very well connected, and I work through them to help find places. I do a lot of word of mouth. Very often it's just one state to the next. Who do you know that way? And yeah, so I do have a lot of people helping organize and help me track down places as part of my networking, and that's how I find the most efficient places for us to go. So yeah, that's a big part of it. I've got a fantastic team that works on the back end of this as well, helps me coordinate things. That is all my family. So between Logan and my mother and father, they all put a ton of back time in to make the year of the Mustang what it is, and organize stays and keep in contact with everybody. So between all of us, we keep it all organized and find me places to stay as I'm going along if needed. Do I have any other big adventures in the back of my head? Um, at the moment, no. I wouldn't say. I mean, other than I want to do everything I can to teach everyone about this trip and what it was like and what I learned from it, as well as about wild horses. So, I guess if that's my next big adventure, yeah, that would be it. Let's see. How old is the horse you're riding? And thank you for the journey. So I have 2 horses, and they are 13 and 7. And they rotate day to day. So today was Denver's turn, and tomorrow's Eddie's turn. Yep, you could call it that. We're going on tour after this. You had any problems with being stopped by law enforcement stopping you? No, not really. I've really only been helped by law enforcement, at least with like your city and county. I've had some discussions with like national parks police, but even those were that nothing but helpful really in the end. So yeah, not really any issues with law enforcement. North Oregon, man, North Oregon's so beautiful. I wish we could go out there, but maybe a different trip. Oh, what do I remember about the very first day and night? That's a good question. I was wearing this exact same shirt. uh, it was hot, and my horses were getting into shape still, so we were huffing and puffing, and a lot of things went wrong. I was retying loads, and yeah, horses pulling back. We were going through some rough mountain country leaving Heber. It's some real deal terrain where I live, and yeah, but it was cool. It was so surreal. Just the fact that I was starting on, the most epic adventure of my life, and camping out that first night with them was like, wow, this is the real thing now. So yeah, a lot of learning experiences in one day is what it was. What gave me the idea to do this? It was really something that grew over time. When I was 16, my friends and I, we just wanted to cross Utah, and we never did that. And I just never really let it go. I kept thinking about it and expanding the route over the years. And I was 18 when I had kind of the rough outline of this trip. And I always knew it was going to be a Mustang trip, just because these were the horses that could pull it off the way I wanted to do it. And it grew into this thing where I wanted to give back to wild horses, but I didn't have a voice. So it was only a year prior to leaving that I was working with a friend who was a YouTube editor, and he kind of inspired me to take my journey on YouTube and to bring it to the world. So the year of the Mustang was really born that way. It was not an all of a sudden thing by any means. It evolved over time into what it is now, and it does not disappoint by any means. I'm glad that it's become this thing I've been able to share with everybody. It's become a nationwide effort in a way, and yeah, it's been able to bring a lot of attention to wild horses, and I've been able to work with a lot of people to start that application process or find their ways to get their own Mustang. So yeah, it's super cool, been super worthwhile, more than it ever would have been if it was just me out by myself, wandering. How old am I? I am 24. I will turn 25 before I'm done. 2 birthdays on the road. Has there been a mistake you have? I'm not sure. But sure, mistakes we've made, absolutely. Not many anymore, it doesn't seem, but you go learning a lot, especially in the beginning. How to do things, how to handle the horses in each individual situation. And yeah, it'll definitely teach you fast when you're in such high stakes as riding horses down highways or dangerous mountain country or with 3 of them by yourself. Dangers of the heat. These guys are very good at enduring the heat, for one, being wild horses. But getting them to water every day is super important. So on the especially hot days, doing whatever it takes to get them to water, whether that's asking somebody to fill a bucket for us or going out of our way a little bit to get to a stream. Luckily, I was in the Northeast and Midwest, so it was not too hard most of the time to find water. And electrolytes, so I get these guys to minerals and get a lot of electrolytes in their diet, and and that helps them better process the heat as well, so that the proteins in their muscles don't cook in the high heat. On the really hot days, so like 95 and up, I don't travel, right? Those days we sat through, and I was lucky I only had 2 or 3 days this whole summer that was the case, that I just said we're not doing it, because the heat is hard on the horses. And yeah, that is the thing. Oh, we got a seminary teacher. I love seminary. Yeah, I've been really bad about getting the themes out. That'll be coming out soon. So, yes, our theme on forgiveness will be coming out in a week or two. That will be continuing. Sorry for the hold up on that. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'll be back home around the end of November, to the beginning of December, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's this trip is not for the faint of heart. I'll agree with you there. It's not for everybody. So I would I definitely would not count yourself out. You know, whatever hard thing you want to do, and you set your mind to it, you can do it. But that's something I knew before this trip and know even better now. Where I served my mission. So I was a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Honduras for most of it until COVID hit. And then I was reassigned to Denver, Colorado. So that's why I speak Spanish. I lived in Honduras for a year and a half. Thanks, Hostelry, for the donation. Super nice of you. Did I like Oklahoma? I loved Oklahoma. Yep, lots of nice people. Nice and easy traveling on horses. Good place to be in December and January. Yep, I love Oklahoma. Yes, my faith absolutely has helped me through, as it has many things in my life. Absolutely, yeah. It's another form of a mission, I guess you could say. Yeah. The Pacific Crest Trail. I haven't looked into it. It's a thing that's been done. There's a number of horseback journeys that have been done on the Pacific Crest Trail, and I'd say I like to push the limits. If you couldn't tell, but absolutely, I think it'd be cool to do. It'd be a beautiful ride. Okay, how do I donate to help you? That's a fantastic question. Yeah, guys, that's how these guys get fed and taken care of as we go along. You can donate on you'rethemustang.com. We have a way to donate there. Or if you also are interested in buying merchandise, we've got t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all sorts of things, and they're super nice. So you can buy on you'rethemustang.com, and that supports us as well. So thank you guys for your support. It's been super helpful. We've been super blessed with all the people supporting financially. It makes a big difference for us, and allowing us to be able to do this, and also to be able to go out of our way to spread the word about wild horses and teach people in schools and universities and all the different things I've been able to do as a result of that. So yeah, it's awesome. Yep, you can also go to our GoFundMe, which is Year of the Mustang. That's another avenue you can donate. Yeah, it'd be nice to spend Christmas at home this year for sure. That's the plan. Oh yeah, glad you love your YOTM hoodie. Yep, I love mine. There we go. There's those links in the chat if you guys want to see our website. Well, yeah, guys, this has been super incredible. It's been an amazing year, and I'm so glad you guys have been able to join me on it. It's made it that much better. So thank you guys for your support. Please continue to follow the videos. We're doing a video every week if you don't already see those, and yeah, showing off what it's like to cross the country horseback. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for joining this live stream, and hope you'll continue to hang with us. I think we will be doing more of these lives, at least where we can, where we have the service. I go in and out of self-service a lot, but yeah, we're going to be doing more of these, so watch out for them. We'll answer more questions, so if you have questions, comment below. You can continue to comment after this. We'll get back to you, whatever you want to ask. And yeah, you can donate gifts on YouTube if you want to donate on YouTube as well. Thank you guys so much. It's been super cool to hang out for a little bit and talk. This is a fun first live. We're gonna have to do this again. This is super cool. So yeah, here's to 1 year. Y'all have a good one. Adios.